Monday, it's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a hot 2. It's going to be a hot 3. It's going to be 3 good days of pretty significant heat. Probably heat advisory all 3 days. Spare the air days all 3 days. It's a heat wave. Go ahead and call it that. I think oftentimes we overuse the term heat wave, but this is one because it's an extended run for sure. Temperatures are going to be 101 on this afternoon, maybe 100 degrees, maybe just 100. But either way, it's going to get hot. 103. Tuesday's the hottest day, and then you see the temperatures trend down as a little bit of fog returns to the coast here and here on Thursday, Friday. But we're in for it. It's going to be hot. There's no red flag warnings. And I guess the upshot to all of this is we're not staring down any big winds. When I see big heat like this, when I see low humidities like these next few days, air quality is going to be bad, spare the air days. But what you look for is wind. There'll be some wind along the coast, kind of north-northwest. There's small craft advisories, but that's not an easterly wind. It's those easterly winds that come out of the high and sink and compress and get funneled into the canyons and create the Diablo winds. When you get funneled, you accelerate the winds with kind of a Venturi effect. The air sinks. In the canyons and many of the ravines in California kind of run from north to south. So when you get a north wind, right, you can picture like Feather River Canyon kind of runs from northeast to kind of towards the south. I'm thinking of these and there's, if you look at the topography of California, that's a lot of the river mouths and canyons kind of run that direction, which makes sense because everything flows into the bay, right? So we're not seeing those winds. So that's awesome. Doesn't mean it won't happen. I don't see it as happening though. And I've looked at the models they update every 4 hours or so, some sooner. And none of them are really showing any significant winds that I would be worried about maybe there's one day, maybe Wednesday, we might see a trigger for a red flag warning with winds. We'll see, but it doesn't look very pronounced. Again, these are the temperatures for tomorrow, but they're essentially today's temperatures. 101 in Concord. This is Tuesday, Livermore 101. This could be today as well. And the thing I think about a lot with heat advisories is San Jose, it's 95. Urban areas, Oakland, big numbers. When you get, let's see what Oakland's going to be. Oakland's going to be 89. So when you get the big cities that hot, that's when you get issues because you have elderly, you have folks big cities, most folks, have air conditioning, fortunately. But like a city like Oakland and San Francisco, those cities are there's not a lot of air conditioning in San Francisco. You check your friends in the avenues. I mean, they probably do have it now, but when I was a kid, nobody had air conditioning out there. This is Wednesday's forecast, so it does it again hot. So Monday, today, Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday. And then you can see on Thursday, the temperatures are forecast to begin to subside, to drop down. Now, what will happen in this range is we're going to see decreased fuel moisture. So the fuels are going to completely dry out. So there will be fire starts, guaranteed, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, because after a couple of days of this, things add up. So little sparks from chain on the highway bouncing off the ground like a boat chain, how they do that. Or a catalytic converter could throw a spark. Or someone with a cigarette, right? I think someone with a 2-stroke weed-eating engine. But those fires will get squashed because Cal Fire, the minute they see smoke, they're on it. It's when you get wind, you're not stopping that fire. And that's kind of the concern, obviously, is when you get wind on these fire runs. So we're not seeing that. This is Ocean Beach. I bring this up because it's a beautiful day. There is a surfer out. It's going to be good. Tomorrow's going to be pretty good. There's somebody else out over here. And you can see the beach. It's good sized swell for this time of year, probably 4 to 6. But one of the things I want to mention with Ocean Beach is 1 million people live within a stone's throw of this beach. The rip currents at this beach are nasty, beyond nasty. I mean, I've been in that water every day. We used to go all the time. And I mean, I still do, but there's a rip current let's see if I can pick one out for you. There's a rip current right here, right where those two guys are sitting. That's kind of how they ended up there. So the wave breaks here. It's a little deeper here. The water rushes back out. There's also current moving this way because of the tide that's moving. And so you get a lot of movement. I mean, it's not a clear cut. There's a rip right there too. You can't really see it, but I can see it moving out. So what am I saying? Be careful if you go to the beach today. Just think about it because it's going to be, 1 million people live close to probably, in my mind, the most dangerous beach in the world. Sean Scalen's a good buddy of mine. He's the head lifeguard out there. And he'll tell you that too. Sean's my age. We kind of came up together surfing, and I've pulled people out of the water. I've told these stories, but yeah, in the old days before lifeguards, the surfers were the ones watching the water. This is the extent of the heat advisory, and you see it goes all the way to the coast. That tells you a lot too. This is the satellite image. This shows you the fog being scoured away, and look at you can almost see the wind. Let's see if I can pull this up. You can see the wind going, kind of pushing it down, right? So kind of a northeast wind. You know where else you can see the wind? This is the Broom Fire here out in Nevada. And you see the winds coming northeast, and that's smoke blowing in down into Bakersfield. So that's, this map, the visible satellite map, I would like it if you would bookmark this and use it, because again, what kind of day is it going to be? You can see a lot. You can see a little bit of fog off of, where are we? Big Sur. You can see Santa Barbara's got fog. So that's the visible, no fog at the coast. And of course that means it's going to be pretty warm. And this is a live picture, live as of 9:30 this morning. You can see Ocean Beach, and again, that's the stretch. It's a long stretch of beach. The other reason the beach can be so dangerous is because here's the Golden Gate right here. You can even see the tower. That's the Golden Gate Tower. The tide comes out of there, hits out here, and runs down the beach. So you got an outgoing tide of the bay is giant. It's many cubic square acres coming out of there, and that water moves and gets wrapped up in the currents and gets wrapped up in the swell. So Ocean Beach, very dangerous beach, and it will be for the next few days, even though you want to take your wave storm out and catch big kahuna waves. Don't do it unless you're a good surfer, because you're gonna get in trouble. Here is Montera Point, Pacifica, right here. What else we got? There's Sutro Tower, and it's one of those days. Okay, I mentioned the winds. What I'm looking for is, see these isobars? This is surface isobars. The kink represents the northeast wind. That wind is blowing from the north. And there looks like there might be a little wind up in Northern California, but see how close together they are? And see how far apart they are for us right now? See how far? They're not very close together. This is some wind right in here. In this run, there's some wind right in here in northeast, far northeast California at higher elevations. But let's watch the model as we move through time. See how there's a little kink there tonight, but see how they're staying apart? That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Usually in the morning is when these things get going, but there's no real kind of corduroy. There's a little corduroy offshore, but that would represent a north wind. So that's all you're looking for. You're looking for a bunching of those isobars. And see how they're staying spread apart? Yeah, so that's why the air quality is not going to be good, because you're not going to get much wind. But we're not, there's a little bit of focused wind there. That's a northwest wind. That again is going to be slightly onshore, and it's not a funneling wind. So you can see as I go through the whole period, I'm not seeing any big winds. That would be awesome if that happens. I think it probably will happen. But again, be careful if you go to the beaches. It's a beautiful day, but it is also dangerous. Pacifica is the same way, Sharp Park, all these areas. Okay, so have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.